One actually, we'll call to order the April 28, 2026 meeting of the Warren County Library Commission. Adequate notice of this meeting was given in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act by forwarding a schedule of regular meetings of the Warren County Library Commission to the Warren County Clerk, a Star Ledger and Daily Record, publication on the official Warren County website at your URL given, and by posting a copy thereof on the bulletin board in the office of the Board of County Commissioners and the office of the Warren County Clerk. Formal action may be taken by the Warren County Library Commission at this meeting. Public participation is encouraged. In order to assure full public participation, those individuals with disabilities who wish to attend the meeting should submit any requests for special accommodation 1 week in advance. Roll call, please, for attendance.
Ms. Gerhart?
Yes.
Ms. Mascarelli?
Here.
Ms. Thomas?
Yes.
Okay. Please rise for the flag salute. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First order of business is approval of the minutes from the March 24th, 2026 regular meeting. I need a motion to adopt those minutes.
I'll second.
Any amendments, questions, comments? Hearing none, call the roll for a vote to approve.
Ms. Gerhart?
Yes.
Ms. Mascarelli?
Yes.
Ms. Thomas?
Yes.
Next, we have public comment section on agenda items only. The meeting is open to the public for comments to be offered to share thoughts with the library commission. Each speaker will have up to 4 minutes to comment. The commission may or may not respond to the public comments at the time given. The commission may address comments later in the meeting or at a subsequent meeting under old business. So I need a motion to open the public comment section.
I make a motion. I'll second that.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, anybody wishing to address, please come to the
Yes.
podium,
Yes.
sign in, and indicate, write down you don't need to write your address, just the municipality where you reside.
Teresa Esposito Jackson, Washington Township. I'd like to comment on the resolution to amend the rules and conform for public meetings. The resolution included in the minutes doesn't even contain the entire proposed changes. Rather, it reads as a vague explanation for those proposed changes. What do you mean by remote protocols? Does this include no longer reading or summarizing correspondence into the record? Because this practice was not a COVID protocol, and there is evidence from numerous years before COVID that this was an established practice before this current commission. Just a quick search showed me evidence from March 2019, February 2018, September 2017, May 2016, June 2015, and numerous other months from those years. Why does this commission seem to look for every opportunity to limit public participation and the public having a voice? Again, it makes us wonder if there are more ulterior motives. Commissioner Thomas is the one who revised this policy, and she is also the same person who apparently said in the November executive session that she doesn't want correspondence acknowledged because she doesn't want her friends' letters to be Oprah. If correspondence isn't acknowledged, it limits the public's knowledge as to what is being discussed with the commission. We know that previous communications were focused on the books that were considered inappropriate and were being requested to be relocated. Also, do these remote protocols also include live streaming the meetings? That would disenfranchise caretakers, people with disabilities, people who have lack of transportation, and more. The goal of a public commission should be to welcome public participation and to ensure that all members of the community are able to be involved, because this commission is meant to guide the library in the direction of what's best for the entire community. This resolution should not be passed until remote protocols is clearly defined and correspondence and live streaming the minutes is protected in the policy.
Thank you.
I'm Paul Escalante from Alamucci. I have similarly a number of questions about the proposed rule changes. I'll just try to not duplicate what the person before me just said. I'll touch on some other areas. So she talked about remote protocols, which was pretty ambiguous. And then there was just a whole section about the handling of correspondence. And again, I think I agree here where it's ambiguous as to what the intent is. We should be able to continue to get correspondence back and forth, both feedback into the commission and then responses back. There was a mention in the proposed changes about general structure business sections. Adding or reordering them seems to make sense. You might not need to do that. Omitting them at a single commissioner's behest seems pretty specious. I don't know why we would need to do that. If we ran into things where we were always running over time or other issues, I could see maybe wanting to rule like that. The live streaming, both the saving, live transmission during the meeting, and then saved recordings afterwards for note-taking minutes and everything, is really valuable. I know I heard some questions as to, well, how do we summarize minutes? How do we capture what people said or what they wanted to do or what the point was? Save it. It's 2026. We have a lot of online capacity and everything, and everybody's used to that. So I think there shouldn't be a reluctance to kind of provide that communication. People who can't get here, it's very hard, I think, for a lot of people to make it 5:30 on a weeknight. But I'm very involved, I'm very interested in this, so live streaming. Limitations of comments, there are a couple of questions, or at least ambiguities, as to what was intended. You know, there's the agenda items, and then there's the public items, they all matters. So I'd hate for the 4 minutes to be used in one section, then you don't get 4 minutes for the next section. And then also, I haven't seen us running over time.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that, what you just said? The
Yeah,
very last
there's
one.
the two different portions of comments. So if we're saying one person gets one chance to speak, do they have to choose which form they're gonna speak in?
They're able to speak and vote.
Okay, great, that's good. And then limiting the overall comments from everybody to an hour essentially says, well, you can only have 15 people speak. So that, I haven't seen us really run past an hour of comments for sure. Maybe the meeting runs a little late. If there is that much feedback, that much community participation in comment sections, I think it might behoove you to have a follow-on session to continue going through the comments and such. The minutes from November. I don't know if anybody's addressed that. I missed last month's meeting, so I don't know if I missed something. I don't know whether they were revised or whatever to kind of reflect some of the other things that were brought up in the executive session. As you've seen on some of the feedback you've received today, it seems confusing, it seems suspicious. I hate to use the word suspicious, but when you see a lot of pushback on clarity, transparency, and accountability, you start to get worried about it. And you look, things jump out at you when you see steps being taken to go opaque. So I think we have to think hard about that. And then there was just a mention of circulation policy, but I didn't see what the changes were. If somebody can go over what the changes are proposed for the circulation policy.
We'll have, that's on the agenda, I'll talk about
Okay.
it later in the meeting.
All right,
Thank you. Okay, anybody else care to speak?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. See you stand up. I'm looking over your head, I didn't see you walk up.
I know, I'm quite Anna Babitsky, Independence. I sent a letter on all of this, and because some of the issues are already being addressed today, I'm not going to repeat the same, I presume.
When did you send the letter?
I sent a letter yesterday. So I presume that will be read, but my concerns are very similar to those two that were just raised. I don't know if it was intentional or it was accidental, but when I read the bylaws, they give me an impression, a very strong impression, that the whole point of rewriting the bylaws was to suppress the public input and limit public participation. That just strikes through the whole, section of the public policy. It's clearly there. you remove the correspondence, you're saying that you can change the agenda. The one that was just mentioned, the limiting the speaking section only to 15 people. Well, from the authoritarian playbooks, I can just bring 6 of my friends and have them talk, and that would kind of cover the hour, right? It's disturbing that you're taking such a care to limit and not to add, and not to provide. You're saying here, just a minute ago, it was read that anybody with disabilities who wants to participate needs to give you a week of advance notice. Why? We have technology. Why can't people just log in, listen, speak up? We have technology today. This is 2026. But the intent specifically to say that we will limit you guys, that is very, very brazen and very obvious to me. And then there is this whole point is that every person can speak only once. When when Ms. Thomas ridiculed my comments about authoritarian regimes and talked about someone else's ideas about that, I would have no chance to get up and defend myself. This is what you guys doing. You might not realize it. Maybe lawyers are writing this. Maybe you don't understand how it comes across. But for those of us who lived in that regime, if it smells like fascism, it's fascism. So I hope you're not pushing that way. But that's how it comes across. I really urge you to take some of the amendments that could be done, clean up the language, and make it all inclusive rather than exclusionary.
Excuse me, you said you sent a letter yesterday?
Yeah, after the meeting, we didn't receive anything, so let's check the email address. Did you email it?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll resend it.
You send it, I can verify the email.
If they tell me any.
And to just comment on one thing we said earlier, any individual can speak at each public comment session, so it's not just one.
Right, but if I happen to speak right now, and you right now, give me something that I would like to respond to, your procedures right now say I have no right. And maybe you will be very gracious and maybe you will let me, but that just doesn't smell good.
Subsequent public.
Sandy Roberts from Bearstown. Sorry for the terrible handwriting once again. Hello. I want to start by thanking our library staff for all their tremendous work with the main program. I know it demands a lot of extra hours for all of you, and we really appreciate your dedication. It's an amazing service. And thank you, as always, to our library commissioners for their service. Keeping my comments fairly general today, but I wanted to talk about some of the recent changes to the rules of conduct and decorum for public meetings, as many people are concerned, because the changes represent a troubling pattern for many of us, and seem like continuous efforts to make it harder for the public to engage with this commission. At the last meeting, we were told that the remote participation part was through Zoom was removed from the rules because we no longer have a COVID emergency. And I believe that's the wrong way to look at it. During COVID, we all learned a lot of new skills and built new systems. The shift to remote work and virtual meetings has been transformational for many of us in this country. It saved people money on commutes, given families more time together, and reduced costs for businesses. But perhaps most importantly, it made access to meetings, classes, and trainings more equitable. Remote participation increases access for people who are disabled, elderly, ill, caring for family members, or facing long commutes. That's a good thing, especially in a rural community, and when we're talking about access to our county government and meetings like this one for our library commission. We should be doing everything in our power to increase the community's access to these important discussions. But this commission seems to want to go in the other direction, and that's concerning to me. We live in an age where we do have technology to make participation easier. And you already had technology like that in place, and you chose to remove that access. The excuse COVID is over is simply not good enough.
It doesn't explain why you take a working system and eliminate and make considerable changes to the access people had. It's not just about remote access. When we look at some of the other changes, limiting public comment time and how often people can speak, a pattern seems to emerge. These changes taken together send a message that you want less participation from the public and not more. For a library commission designed to act as a liaison between the public and our county, designed to serve the public and its library system, that seems like you're going the opposite of the way you should be going. Think about what allowing remote participation really does. It increases your transparency and your accountability to the community. Those are worthy goals. When people can participate from anywhere, ask questions from anywhere, and share their concerns from anywhere, you build trust instead of eroding it. And at the end of the day, democracy thrives when people can participate, when they feel like they have a stake in what's happening. When you limit public participation and create narrow confines for how people can share their ideas and opinions, you're fundamentally reducing their involvement in public discourse and in our democracy. So I'm asking you, what do you truly want to offer this community? Do you want to increase access? Do you want more people involved in this library, excited about what the library is doing and excited about the work that you're putting in? Or do you want to cut off access and limit participation? The choice is, of course, yours, but I urge you to choose inclusion over exclusion, access over barriers, and community over convenience. Thank you.
Thank you.
Seeing no one else rise, I'll ask for a motion to close the meeting to the public.
I make a motion.
Not close the meeting to the public.
No.
Close the
just
public
this.
comment period.
I'll second that.
We had first, second, roll call, please.
Ms. Garber?
Yes.
Ms. Pascarelli?
Yes.
Ms. Thomas?
Yes.
Yes, me too. I don't know. Did you call my name? She did? Yeah, she did. I missed it. Okay. So next, I thank you everybody for all your comments. Next are resolutions related to financial matters. That is resolution 2026 F05. And we have on here the bills that have been paid or going to be paid. There's 5 disbursement periods during the month of April. And we have received the bills, not the bills themselves, but the entries for the disbursements. And if we have no questions on that, we need a motion to approve this resolution and authorize paying bills.
I'll make a motion. Second.
Any comments or questions on this resolution? Hearing none, a roll call vote to approve.
Ms. Garber?
Yes.
Ms. Pascarelli?
Yes.
Ms. Thomas?
Yes.
Communications to the commissioners. Jill, did we have anything?
Yes.
There was one,
There was
yes.
an email from March 30th from Sarah Rivera.
It was left over from last month.
Right, she asked for a response to what was said in November's executive session, asked why $40,000 was budgeted for the lawyer, and asked why the circulation policy wasn't mentioned at a prior meeting.
Okay. I think she was at the last meeting. I thought we talked about these things. Oh, here it is. So it came in on Monday.
Then we also have another email from April 25th via Sabriska, inquired why there aren't baby changing tables at CDH and RDG.
Have you responded to her?
I
and
did, I
explained?
let her know that we've been told by the county it's an insurance liability. It's one of our biggest complaints, that there aren't changing tables.
At any of the branches?
Correct.
At any of the county buildings, you said, right?
I think probably some of the older buildings that grandfathered in.
Oh, okay.
The first we learned of it was when we were remodeling this building. So it was 12 years ago, it's been a while.
I want to go back to Sarah Rivera's. Her email was received Monday the 23rd at 2:15 PM, so it should have been in our last packet. It came in by the deadline.
The meeting was March 24th. Let's see, March 24th was the meeting, so it came in, or she sent it 6 days after.
It's showing here March 23rd.
Oh, I think she sent multiples, that's correct.
Okay. Did she send one Monday the 23rd? Do we? Okay, and again, just because this isn't following our procedure, why would we have not included it? Did it just get missed in your emails?
I'd have to go back to look to see if her other one was included.
Okay.
Maybe it was swapped. I believe she sent 2.
Okay, well, this one came in by the deadline, and we should have seen it, we should have had it. I don't know if she was at the meeting. I don't believe she was. Let me look quickly here. I have to read around those because it would be. No, she made a statement about overhaul. It wasn't, I don't think she understood what the issue was. $40,000 budgeted for the commission, we addressed it that night at the meeting, that's actually what the county government puts in on the library commission budget. It's not our request per se. Issue raised about the circulation policy. Yes, we put it on the agenda last month to get the ball rolling, but it was not adopted. We'll be discussing it tonight. And see, it may be adopted.
I do see in the minutes for March that the March 23rd email from Sarah Rivera was included.
Yeah. So this was the second one, okay. Answer.
Correct.
So this is the one. This is a later
I
one.
believe it's the exact same wording.
Later.
Oh,
And
Yeah,
then you also,
I have a copy of the one from the last, it's the same text.
same letter. Yeah, I
exact
remember
same
that.
text.
It's twice. Okay, we also have a copy, Sandy Roberts gave us the hard copy of the comments for the last meeting, and it was included in our packet.
Right, we weren't sure if we'll receive the copy.
Thank you for doing that. As to this issue about overall documents, I've read several comments. And I think there's a misunderstanding, maybe because it's a whispering down the lane phenomenon, somebody heard somebody say whatever. But there was an issue raised in the past about whether certain documents would be subject to Oprah. I just want to clarify for the public, those were not the Library Commission documents that the question arose from. It was whether or not a person who wrote to the commission, possibly in a confidential manner, and would not want their letter read or included in minutes or whatever, would it still be available to the public somehow? And the answer is yes from our attorney.
Correct.
Somebody could, yeah, and that's more an issue for people who are letter writers, not people who are speakers, yeah, right, that's, yes, the right word to describe it, yes. Yeah, there's been no discussion, no attempt to hinder access to any library commission or library documents that are subject to Oprah. So, okay, so we did our communications to the commissioners, and there was one received today that's past the deadline that will be included in our packet for next month.
Correct.
So just a reminder to everybody, the deadline for submitting those is close of business the day before a meeting. Most meetings are on Tuesday, that would be Monday at close of business. That's just so the staff can get all the packets together. We can't be taking things from them that afternoon and make sure it gets in everybody's packet. So please feel free to write, but if you want it addressed in a more timely manner, meet the deadline on Monday before. Okay, all business rules of conduct and decorum. So last month we had posted what the proposed revision was, and we've had people commenting on it. Lisa took the lead on this. Is there anything you want to
there were no, follow-ups or responses to.
From commissioners.
From it,
to-
yeah, from commissioners.
Since the last draft, so,
Always happy.
they're gonna be adopted then, well, I'm gonna put it this way, I'm going to call for a vote to have them adopted if everybody agrees. And again, remember that there are there are policy documents like this that we can come back to at some point in the future. If we hear comments or see written comments that make us rethink some of these, that's an option, certainly, to come up. So, we have it later in the meeting we have the resolution related to adoption of that. Second, under old business is changes to circulation policy. Tammy Coop and I are serving as the subcommittee for review of circulation policy. She and I did not have a chance to meet in the last month. She's a very busy lady, pretty busy too. We're gonna get together sometime in the next week or so. So by the next meeting, we will have a informal report to the whole commission as to what we reviewed and what we think about it. Primarily, the change is due to our adoption or our, what's the right word? We've joined the main system and their circulation policy is different than the Warren County Library.
Correct.
Anything to
Exactly.
elaborate on that, Jill? So Jill presented to us, look, here's what our circulation policies are, this is what Maine says we're really supposed to comply with, review them, and
Right, we want our, policy to correspond with Maine's, since we've agreed to that, so it includes things like, the number of renewals changes, the loan periods change, how often you have to renew your patron account.
so far, at first glance, it didn't look like anything major differences.
It's basically the numbers on the chart there, that's the big part. We used to renew accounts every 2 years, Maine policies every 3 years.
The Patriot card.
One other,
Correct.
you want to be saying, one other big thing is Hackettstown now is reciprocal borrower through this agreement. So that does change membership.
In
So-
what respect?
So they're a part of the Maine, so that
Okay.
their card is eligible at our branches.
Oh, okay.
We addressed that, I think a couple of years ago with the county commissioners.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So that has already been taken care of.
Right.
That's in the membership policy, you'll see where Hackettstown was removed 2 years ago, 3 years ago, as, for the non-service area. Still includes Washington Borough, Alpha, Phillipsburg.
And it was Hackettstown also.
It used to be, those used to be the 4 municipal libraries, in Warren County, not serviced by Warren County library system.
They have their own libraries, and I think they did not have to pay library tax.
They pay, they do not pay the county library
They
tax,
don't pay
correct?
county library tax.
Yes.
I mean, if they ever wanted their municipality to pay the library tax in addition to what they were to do, they could become members. It wasn't
Correct.
so much the county commissioners excluding them as these municipalities chose not to participate.
Right, they
in the
maintain
county
their
system.
own
Okay,
libraries.
but now they worked something out, I didn't know this, so Hackettstown residents are now part
So
of the,
they can come in with their Hackettstown card to any of our libraries
and we honor
and
it.
check out, exactly, check out materials.
All right, so we'll take a look at these, and we'll come back at the next meeting with, that's it, we'll call it a report, and see where we go from there. The third item of old business was membership policy, and this was brought up at the last meeting. We had a request from somebody with a designation who lived outside of these service areas we just discussed. But they wanted to know if they could receive a courtesy library card, which is available to certain people. If we could add to that disabled veterans, if they have a designation as a disabled veteran, if they could be issued a courtesy card for the Warren County Library System. So we had our attorney view the law related to that, whether or not we have authority to do something in that case, how the policy should read. And we do have, oops, I'm sorry, folks, is that me? Shouldn't be making those, but, we do have on the agenda a resolution, we think we came up with a policy, yes, agreeing to that. request allowing that, but of course there was always the details, so we had a written document, and that's what we will, be reviewing a little later when we get to those resolutions. Okay. New business, I think we have one item for new business.
I was just wondering if there is or was a procedure in place for making sure that all and any emails that are received are acknowledged in some way. At one point, I offered to do that, fielding those. I know when there's a specific email about programming, things that don't pertain to the commission per se. I didn't know if there was a procedure like that in place.
We respond when it's specifically library related for us.
Okay.
We do not respond on your behalf.
Okay, so could I do that?
Or could, I was thinking maybe the staff, just whenever we get an email, just send a simple reply, acknowledging receipt.
We can do an automated reply.
Well, make sure you actually get it. Just so, if that works as an automated reply, I think that's fine.
We've been using it for about a year now with our programming email.
Okay.
It's been successful.
Just so people know, I mean, and it came up another, last month or the month before, somebody said it, here's my email, and we said we never received it, sort of what happened here. And so, if they get a response, they would know we received it, that would sort of be a fail safe. Does that sound?
Yeah, I'm happy to do it as well, but I mean, whatever.
They get them anyway. So I do.
Let's do that, that's not a problem at all.
They have nothing else to do, I'm sure they. Because you are looking at them anyway, and correctly, it's easy for you to do that. So, okay, so we're gonna, Joe, we don't need to like make a motion or anything related to that, we're just asking them to do this, so, okay. Acknowledge emails. Okay. Okay, so next we're on to resolutions and other categories, since we did the financial resolutions, and the first is to amend the rules of conduct and decorum. That is resolution 2607. So, Lisa, this was your project, so you should probably be the one to make a motion to approve resolution 2026-07.
Okay, I make a motion to approve resolution 2026-07 to amend the rules of conduct and decorum for public meetings.
Per the document that we received, which is the revised document.
Which is this?
Right.
Yes.
We need a second?
I'll second that.
Anybody other comments about this matter? Seeing none, we'll get a roll call vote to approve this resolution 2026-07.
Ms. Goodhart?
Yes.
Ms. Pascarelli?
Yes.
Ms. Thomas? Yes.
Resolution to amend the library membership policy, and let me, I do want to say something about that. Okay, so the amendment to the library membership is basically just getting our library card. Let's see, there's one change, Joe, I see you implemented the main requirement, we should call it, that you changed it every 2 years to 3 years. On page 1, you went ahead and
These were just the recommended changes that I had offered for the membership policy.
okay. Right, I'm saying you went ahead, even though the discussion had not been about renewal, you went ahead and put that in there. And that's,
Correct.
I think that's fine, I don't think anybody has a problem with that. And then we have a whole new section that's related to disabled, military veterans disabled through service, not through some other way, it specifies that. And in order to receive a courtesy card, this disabled military veteran would have to show some documentation issued by the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. Although there's different documents there, but I think it's pretty easy. So that any level of disability, is not specified, anybody who has that designation from the VA would qualify to receive a card. Any questions about that? Okay, and hearing none, need a motion to approve resolution 2026-08.
Make a motion?
I'll second that.
Roll call?
Ms. Gerber?
Yes.
Ms. Pasquarelli?
Yes.
Ms. Thomas?
Yes.
Okay, motion carried, resolution is adopted. Then, next we have a report, the only report we have this month is from the library director.
All right. I'll let you know, at the end of March, the county commissioners approved the 2026 budget for the library. Total amount is $5,791,833. Broken down, the salaries and operating expenses account for $4,680,606, and capital improvements are $1,111,227.
What's that anticipated for?
They always set a little bit aside. Some of it is library van. We don't need a new one as of now, but we know we will in the future, so we every year try to put some money away for that. And some technology improvements as well.
I was asking more specifically about the branch improvements, $1 million, that's all.
I think we're still working on CDH. It's been a year and there's still a list of items that have not been resolved. This week we've had a little bit of movement. We're hoping it's gonna be done soon. But again, the county goes ahead, we make recommendations, but the county goes ahead and they.
Like, we've provided with you in the presentation, that those of us who review what we anticipate the needs of the library are. But they would add on, because they have to manage the whole county budget.
Correct.
Sometimes they want to make sure some things are covered that we don't necessarily anticipate as a need, but they see it as a possibility. And they want to make the funds. Something the public doesn't always understand is once this budget's in place, you can't spend money any other way. It's not like your home budget. If you budget it, but something happens, you need a car repair, you find money somewhere.
Sure.
That doesn't happen with public funding. So they put things in there to anticipate. And at some point in the year, they can make adjustments between line items.
Yes.
I don't know, it's not till November maybe?
Actually, Kim Francisco, the CFO for the county, has told us that we're able to move the monies around as needed.
Better than
It is.
municipalities.
Absolutely. So when there's an emergency and maybe there's not enough in that line item, we can
You
move
can,
funds into
within
it.
the library budget.
Correct, yes.
Within the library budget, not from outside.
No, no.
By the way, that total appropriation means authorizing to spend money. How's that number compared to the prior year? I forgot.
It's a little bit lower.
Okay, slightly lower. Do you have the other old figure handy? Just for fun.
I think I do.
I knew it when we looked at this in October or whatever it was.
$6,056,290.
$6,056,000.
290.
Okay, so slight decline there. And again, not in our request necessarily, but the big picture of what they've set aside for the library.
Correct. This is the third straight year tax levies remaining at 4.72 million. Because property valuation has gone up, it means a slight decrease in the library tax rate for the year. And thus far, for the first quarter of 2026, we have spent 24% of the salaries and operating budget.
Which is where you should be 1/4 of the way through the year.
Exactly.
spend approximately a quarter of it. Okay, so you're saying we're on track with spending. All right, take it away, Jill, your next item.
Sure. Last week was National Volunteer Week. We have volunteers at all of our branches. They help us out with all sorts of tasks. Some of it maybe is a little more fun than others, but it all needs to be done. It might be shelving, shelf reading, helping prep the crafts for some of the kids' programs. Ranges to fundraising with our friends groups and our trustees and advocacy. Matthew put together little thank you gifts for all of the volunteers. I think we had a combination of tea samplers and magnetic poetry. Yeah, very cute.
Like to go on our refrigerator,
Exactly.
go on one's refrigerators.
Last week was also National Library Week, and we want to thank the CDH trustees, the Friends of the Library, and several of our individual patrons. They brought in all sorts of sweet treats for us, homemade goodies. We had a delicious crumb cake, raspberry crumb cake somebody brought in at this location. The friends at this location created t-shirts for the staff. So it was a very good week for the staff. It's always nice to be recognized, and we want to thank everybody who did recognize the staff for us.
Thank you on their behalf.
Sure.
As well.
We now have online access to the Star Ledger. We were able to set it up through Newsbank, which is the same vendor we use for the Express Times. The Express Times is by far our heaviest usage in terms of databases, so we haven't received any stats yet with Star Ledger. It's only been a couple weeks, but we are anticipating that we're going to see some high usage for that as well.
Where is it on the main page of the library website?
You can-
Where would we find
You
it?
can find it under the eBooks and More webpage, or under the list, the A to Z list of databases.
I'll call you when I can't find it.
Sure.
How to find it. That's great.
For just text articles, it goes back to 1989. And then for articles that actually have the images, if you were looking for a photo of somebody, it goes back to 2017. So we're kind of excited about it because when the Star Ledger went out of print originally, they had nothing in place for online access for libraries. So we're glad, knock on wood, that this is going well so far.
So this is a new, it's not just we're subscribing, it's a new service.
Correct.
Or it's a new service, I guess would be.
Yes.
Great.
We have you might be aware, a circulating board game collection. We've had it for several years. It's used heavily and interest kind of keeps growing every year. Had to weed out a few of them. They're a little grubby, tattered. Yeah, and some of the pieces are missing. So librarian Courtney Vega reached out to several board game companies and asked them for donations. And I think we had, it was 9 different companies have sent us over 120 games.
Oh, wow.
Yes, we were thrilled.
Ask and you
with the
shall
response.
receive. Isn't
Yes.
that the lesson? Wow.
She's been busy processing them, getting them cataloged and getting them out for circulation, so
Is anywhere on the games, is it noted this was a donation from?
I believe in the record they put it, and I don't know if she's put some
We
sort
have
of.
signs out on the floor as well, recognizing.
They should get recognition.
Absolutely, and
Already-
she's gonna do some social media
Yeah, we've already
posts.
made at least one social media post.
Wow.
Matthew's office is filled with board games.
Yes.
Yeah, it looks like there's nothing to do. You're in there playing games all day. You and your fellow staff members. That's great. Wonderful.
And then finally, just in 2 days, Jean Jingles is gonna be retiring from the library system. She's been with us for 20 years. I think she's worked at all 4 branches through that time. Most recently, she is the staff member in charge of our interlibrary loan system. But she has many, many talents. So she's done flower arranging classes for us, knitting, crocheting classes. She's played the bagpipes at several of our story times through the years. For a while, she hosted afternoon teas for adults. I think she did a couple of kids' teas as well. So we're really gonna miss Jean. Miss her baking. She's a wonderful baker as well. Every few weeks, she would bring us in treats and we put on pounds eating them, but she's done a wonderful job for us and we wish her well.
Thank you for recognizing her. Any questions for Jill? Got that. Next is public comment on any matter related to the library. The meeting is open to the public for comments to be offered to share thoughts with the Library Commission. Excuse me. Each speaker will have up to 4 minutes to comment. The commission may or not respond to the public comments at the time given. The commission may address comments later in the meeting or a subsequent meeting under old business. May I have a motion to open the public comment.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Roll call?
Ms. Gerhart?
Yes.
Ms. Pascarelli?
Yes.
Ms. Thomas?
Yes.
All right. Anybody care to take this opportunity to speak?
Lisa Esposito Jackson, Washington Township. I have to say I'm extremely disappointed in the commission for voting on the public forum policy for several reasons. One, everyone who spoke tonight and one of the letters that were received were against the policy in its current form. People asked questions for you to clarify items in that policy, asking what does remote protocols even mean? Before you were asked before you even voted if you have any comments, and all of you just sat there. You didn't explain your reasoning. If you were going to make these votes, if you were going to vote for these things, you should have to stand behind it. You should have to explain your reasoning, okay? The public is asked and made clear in concise cases as to why these policies are concerning. And I don't know if you just tune us out when we come up here, or if you just don't care. If you're not taking your role as leading this commission for the public seriously. When Ms. Pascarelli, today you said, if we hear comments that make us rethink some of these, we can change some of them. What about today didn't make you rethink it, didn't make you table it, didn't make you consider, hey, maybe we should make some changes before we vote on this? You didn't answer the public's questions. You didn't explain what remote protocols means. You don't explain your reasoning as to why you want the public more actively engaged. This is so disheartening to the public and it's a disgrace. There was issues when you voted for the bylaws the last time where people had, again, brought up concerns, asked questions. Those things were not explained either. And you said, well, it can always be amended. It can always be amended. Okay, have we talked about amending the bylaws since you voted on them last month with everything that was brought up, with all the concerns that people have? Removing the hour limit, removing the option for the chair to remove or omit items from the agenda, including public comment. These are things that should be protected because again, in a democratic society, public participation should be encouraged. And I believe it was also Ms. Pascarelli who apparently said in the November executive session that, hey, if you're gonna make a complaint, you should apply, you should do your civic duty. Well, we are here doing our civic duty. And a lot of us have applied to the commission, which we have not heard back from. We know there's an open position and it hasn't been discussed here. So you're saying we should get involved and yet you're limiting every opportunity for us to be involved. And then hearing today about the emails, it says library commission members. Why aren't you the ones reading the emails? Why are you asking your staff to go
read them
after they go through them and they give you a packet?
They are distributed to the commission members at the time they're sent.
Okay, so why aren't you, I understand Ms. Burkhardt volunteered to respond. Why are you putting that on the staff's plate? The staff has struggled with being understaffed at different branches consistently, and yet you're like, well, you guys can respond. It's not to them, it's not to the staff, it's to the commission members. It is your responsibility to respond to us. We are writing to you, we are not writing to them. It seems like at every opportunity, you are looking to not be involved with the public. You're looking for every opportunity to put a shield up from the public. And putting more on their plate is a disgrace. I do want to say happy, National Library Week. I was happy to be part of the Friends, to recognize you guys. I see how hard you work. I see how understanding you guys can be, especially with Maine, and that's a great resource, and you guys are putting in the hours for that. And I'm sorry the Library Commission is trying to put more on your plate, because that's unacceptable. All of this is disgraceful. You should be ashamed of yourselves. Again, if you're gonna steamroll the public, you should have the conviction and the confidence to explain your reasoning and answer the public's questions. Shame.
Question for you. What is the issue about remote? A couple people have mentioned that something's unclear about remote. There's nothing.
In the amendment for today, the resolution that you put in the minutes, it says, due to remote protocols, if you go to your own resolution that you voted for, which is not included, it looks like in the paper handout, but was online, because it's not in this packet, it said due to COVID, remote protocols are no longer
Those were the
included.
old bylaws. Those were the old rules.
No, it was under the public decorum policy. That was what was listed in the minutes for today, for that you guys voted on.
Correct, it
What
was,
was posted online?
the agenda and both resolutions.
Okay, so what is she referring to that was posted that refers to remote?
In the last whereas of the resolution, it says whereas remote protocols for Warren County Library Commission meeting are no longer in existence.
Oh. So it's not unclear, it's making the comment that the decision was
Yeah.
made to.
The prior version to the amendment had a definition of remote meeting in it, but the definition was removed per this amendment. Plus also, which it needed to be, because remote meetings are only authorized pursuant to a declared state of emergency, and there isn't one, so.
Okay. And I want to clarify what you said about putting this obligation on the staff. Whoever writes is going to receive an automatic reply acknowledging that the email was received, so there's no question whether or not what they submitted was received. That's not putting.
Well, originally you asked, well, can someone from the staff see it and respond to it? That's what you asked. That's originally what you asked.
The response consists of acknowledging that the email was received.
Yes, and that is important. But originally you asked for someone from the staff after Ms. Gerhardt said she would do it. So that's what I'm saying.
That's
Again, that's
all
being
the request
shifted.
referred to.
And
It was not answering the email.
have to say it's
It was
really-
confirming that the email was received. I
It's
just wanna
also
make sure
really
that that's clear.
disappointing that you didn't even know what was in the resolution that you voted on for tonight. You asked me, what does that even
I
involve?
didn't know which
Multiple
language you
people
were referring
had brought it,
to.
you should know what you were voting on, especially when it's
I know
vague
what I was voting
language. Especially when it's vague language. Remote
Anything
protocols,
else?
can we clarify, does that mean live streaming the meetings? Does that mean correspondence? What does remote protocols mean? Because that was not clarified. And again, the fact that you voted on something you didn't even know what you were voting on is severely.
We knew what we
severely-
were voting on. What we did not know is the language you were referring to that we asked you to
As an English
clarify.
teacher,
Now I see.
diction is extremely important to understand the interpretation, especially since we've gone back and forth as to what certain language means, and we've asked clarifying questions today, what that specific language means, that yes, knowing the exact language is extremely important for something you're gonna vote on.
That's why I asked the question. I wanted to know what your comment was referring to.
Okay, well, you should have
Thank
thought
you.
about that before you voted on it.
Anybody else?
Hi, Paul Laskala from Alamochi. I have to echo what she just said. I'm sorry, I don't know her name. But, wait, talk about disappointing, disheartening, and confusing. My wife and I have come to a lot of these meetings. We try to follow it online when we can't make it. And I know when you have a commission and you have governmental things, everything takes time. You have to vote on the minutes and then decide what gets posted in the minutes. So there are a bunch of concerned citizens that do keep showing up here because they love the library. And even with the best intent and purposes on our end, you can't tell what's going on. Tonight, 4 people asked a bunch of questions as to, well, what do you mean? How long can I talk? How are you going to do remote access? Does this mean, oh, we're not going to stream everything anymore? Everybody who then has, say, difficulty getting here, then gets disabled. So I understand. I think you might take some of the pushback as being unreasonable. However, when you try over and over again to see something explained or a reason behind something, it gets very frustrating. The other thing is, I know you can't answer questions live. I understand that. I think most people do. You're not going to want to say something wrong without looking into stuff. but you're willing to vote for the resolution after a bunch of, I'm gonna say, significant questions about ambiguity came up. People aren't gonna know, how long can I speak for? How many people can speak in a meeting? Are we gonna have remote access anymore? So I think it's that frustration when you try over and over and over again, and you see the same behavior or actions over and over again, that starts to build up the frustration in the public. I guess that's kind of the point.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Martin Keene, and I live in Independence. And I actually have a question, comment about the budget. What I've heard here tonight is that many people, myself included, believe that the library is doing a good job and they're doing a lot of work and they listen to the programs. And what I found interesting, and I understand budgeting on a government level is push and pull everywhere. But the one point you said that kind of raised an eyebrow at me is I assume the population in the county is growing, which in turn would make me believe that you say it's not growing?
That's not an assumption. The ratables increased.
No. My first part is, if the population is growing and the same percentage of the population uses the library as does today, you would believe that more people would come to the library. She said that the ratable stayed the same, I believe, or the amount of money, the tax stayed the same.
The tax levy.
Which means the ratable went down. So from a business perspective, I look at this and I say, if you have usage and usage is growing and things are expanding, when you do it this way, it's nice to claim that the amount of money that the county is taxed, or the people are taxed for library services, actually shrinks because the ratable goes down. But at what point would that infer less service, or harder service, or less staff? And I think if we're talking, I don't know what the exact numbers are, but I think if we're talking about how much money that costs per homeowner, I think if we had left the ratable the same, I believe, I could be wrong, that would be less than $20 a year in people's taxes. And if you asked, do you want to spend $20 a year to keep the library functioning the way it was, that might be a good thing.
It would be $20 additional, is that what you're saying?
No.
What is
yes,
our library
all
tax?
right.
I haven't looked at my billing
Okay,
recently.
so let's say the ratable is 70 cents per $1,000 worth of valuation, right? And that gives you a budget of $6 million. And so now, this year, they have more people, so they lower the ratable, so it's 6,000, but it's still the same, whatever the number was, $6 million. And so now, instead of the ratable being 70 cents, it's 65 cents, 68 cents. It's nice to say that it's lower ratable, so you're paying less tax, but is that not a distinction without a difference?
The total tax levy collected, from not just homeowners, but businesses paying too. Right, I think so. I take that back. I don't know who all is assessed property. Property owners, so yeah, it includes businesses.
Right.
I think if you look at amount to be raised by taxation, that has not changed.
Correct.
What they did was, because they were able to maintain that, yes, I don't speak for county commissioners, I'm just
Right.
surmising that they were able to maintain that total tax levy of 4.7 million by slightly lowering the library tax rate.
Yes,
Okay?
because they have more people to pay it.
They'll,
That's the
people,
only way.
whatever, the total ratables,
But that's the only way that number would work.
if ratables increased, and Jill mentioned that,
Right, property valuation increase.
valuation she used increased.
Right.
It could also be people putting an addition on their house, people making improvements, that makes their assessed value goes up.
That's why I first asked. My presumption was that more people are moving all over the place.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening with county population.
So, as the commission, I don't know where the driving force comes from the budget discussion, whether it's here or from the staff, but it might be good to know if population is increasing more. Do you keep records on how many people use the library?
Yes.
Is that increasing?
It usually remains pretty steady, although we saw an increase last year. I think particularly with reopening our CDH branch in Blairstown.
Okay. And is that ever part of a budget discussion about how many people are using the library?
I know we provide the information to the county commissioners, yes.
So how the cost, can I miss, what's your last name, sir?
Keene, K-E-A-N-E.
I didn't hear that. Mark,
Yes.
so how we worked this last year was Jill put together a budget. It's really a budget request.
Right.
So I don't know her budget. She reviewed it with myself and I think it was Tammy.
Correct.
Another commission member. We were the finance subcommittee, such as it was. We went over it. She explained why she put the figures she did. We endorsed it, that this is what should go forward to the county commissioners. It was good with the budget. She looked at all these things. She looked at expenses mainly. Things have changed. We're not subscribing to newspapers anymore, but we have lots. For example, e-materials, electronic materials, all that stuff. She did a good job with that. And then she made a presentation to the county commissioners at one of their budget meetings. They took all the figures, everything she said. They basically, did they approve what we requested?
They make some changes here and there.
Did the total dollar amount change, other than,
It went up,
lower than
it went
last?
up a little bit.
It went up.
Okay.
It actually went
Alright,
up from what we requested.
Okay, so I was under the impression that it was flat or went down, from the way you described it.
The tax levy,
Was that, but not the
It's
actual
flat.
budget?
correct.
Okay. All right, thank you very much.
That's because questions, you care. Okay.
Yeah, just real quick about the access online. I think we all understand that the COVID protocols are over. That's not really the issue that I know I was bringing up. You know, I'm not someone that wants to do like the bare minimum, and I think all of you as volunteers and educators probably don't want to do the bare minimum either. So like when we have the opportunity to be more inclusive of our seniors, of our families, of people that have, in this economy, really long commutes, then we should be doing more for them. We should be stepping up to provide greater access and greater inclusion, rather than trying to take like the path of least resistance or just saying, oh, we're not required to do it, so we're not gonna do it. My argument is that's the wrong direction to go.
What specifically would you like to see?
I thought that the system where we had Zoom and people could make a public comment online, for example, once they were recognized by the chair, allowed
They
people
could
that maybe
speak,
could.
they
Yeah.
could speak.
Absolutely. So if they weren't able to physically be here for whatever reason, they could still make their public comment and go on the record with that. And I think that that's important because that adds more people to be part of these discussions. So that's it.
Thank you.
So a number of issues were raised about the policy that you already voted on. When will we know if anything that we were talking about today is gonna be addressed, or we just wasted our breath?
If members of the commission choose to propose amendments or changes or anything, it'll be brought up in a future meeting. That's all I could say.
So basically, you're ignoring us, that's what you basically said. So not everything that was said is basically, someone here needs to be a hearer, right? And we know there's no hearers in this commission, so what?
Well, I disagree with that, because I do hear you, I understand what
Thank
you're
you.
saying.
That's what I would like to hear.
I do hear you, and I understand your concerns, and I do think that there needs to be more discussion on these, especially the Zoom, when people are, so
Right.
more people have access to that, so.
And I specifically asking for cleaning up the language, maybe, at our discretion, all of that is really, not welcoming. And I'm specifically asking to eliminate those restrictions on time to speak, because the reason why if we ever went over that hour that you allocated for discussion is because we were fighting the boom fights. You know, there was a lot of people here and everyone was real concerned that our rights, our First Amendment right of speech and the right to raise our kids the way we want to raise our kids were taken away. That was unprecedented. Hopefully we're not going to be in that situation. So hopefully these meetings are not going to drag forever. I understand what that whole intention was, but I really ask you to consider to remove that restriction because it indicates that we don't matter.
Well, have you ever felt like at a meeting that you haven't been able to express yourself?
Not until these bylaws were changed, and this is why
She's asking if you actual experience.
We did not have that rule. And we have a lawyer here sitting that's managing very carefully what is being said. So we all envision.
He's not managing me. My speech is my speech, and he's not
Thank you.
dictating what
But
I can say.
We were in this room when we were told, stop, people were, cut off right in the middle. And now that you add to this, the time frame and how many times you can speak up, all of that gives us an indication that we are not broken.
I think that every meeting, you need to have rules and procedures. I work in the public school system, and everything I do in that public school system, there is a rule and procedure to do it. It's not to limit me, it's just to say, this is how it works. So the earlier question that I had for you, have you ever felt limited in what you need to express? I just want to make sure that aside from today, like in the past, I hope that you have felt the freedom to come to this podium and express yourself.
I think we had that, but also I want to point out that also was before the police officers took the door, okay? Things are changing here and not into inclusive and more, welcoming and more free direction. Things are changing differently. And again, I might be alone here. Maybe every American born here feels very comfortable. I am not very comfortable with someone here, watching me in that situation. So that's me. I'm raising these issues, hoping that we all want to do something here, that we all come in and enjoy these meetings. And so, thank you, I really appreciate it.
I hear you.
Also, I'm sorry, but also I really appreciate that you want to respond to emails. That is huge. And in the last 2 years that we were coming here, nobody volunteered anything. So thank you for that. It gives me a lot of comfort. But I would like to get a response to the email. I noticed I missed out on an address, so I'm going to send it.
Sure.
Huge fan of New Yorker being available to Libby. That is just like, wow. So thank you.
Hi, Pamela King, Independence.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name.
Pamela.
Pamela.
I just have one simple question because I'm just very confused. I wasn't here last month because I was out of the country and I was not able to attend the meeting. Next month, I will not be in the state. I'll be in Florida to take care of family health issues. Will I be able to see the meeting or get what's going on without hearing secondhand from different points of view so I can evaluate things on my own?
Matthew, why don't you answer that for her, what we're doing now, what our policy is?
Yeah, so, we are, live streaming to the website
Right now?
every month. And then the recording will be posted on YouTube. There is a, no?
We're using the county,
Oh, I'm sorry.
aren't we using the county website?
We're using the county's account on the YouTube
Yeah,
for,
Okay.
Yeah, there's no way to have two streams on the same page, so we have to, if we want the previous stream, at least for now, until it can be arranged, the best solution seems to be YouTube for that.
Okay, we're gonna have to have a conversation about that. I was not aware of that change that was made, but to answer your question, it's live streamed. And then when the meeting's over, there's a video posted wherever it goes. You'll find it on the website.
I haven't been able to find it, so before I leave, can somebody write it out for me and give it to
Sure.
me? So that I know?
And there's also a link on
Yeah,
the
there's a
website too, to join, to watch the meeting as it's happening, is,
Okay.
So maybe
so
yeah,
either
have
way,
this on
either
the
that
show.
or
Before you leave today, you can show her, pull up the website and show her.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you for what you do.
I thought you were gonna both race.
She wins. I'm tired.
My name's Judy Frager, I'm from Hackettstown, and I just have a point that I'd like to make about the open commission seat. I've had the opportunity in my life to be an administrator, and I've had the opportunity in my life to lead things, and as your teacher, I was head of the school improvement team for more years than I care to remember. But one of the things I would try to do is to encourage and to find people who absolutely didn't have any of the skills that the people already there did. And I'm hoping that when you fill this commission seat, that you really do look for somebody who has had media, library, technology experience, things that you guys do not bring to the table, rather than to be echoing things that you already have. It is a great opportunity when you have a commission seat open, and filling that commission seat with talent is important for everybody, for the community, for your librarians, for the people who work here, and for yourselves, because we can all grow.
Julie, we've explained in the past that the commission has no role in appointing commission members. And your comments are well meant. You should make those to the county commissioners, because they're the ones who.
You may do that too, as people on the commission.
We have no role in making that appointment. I don't even know where it stands. I don't know how many applications are received. We just don't have a role in that. But I would encourage you to make your comments, you present a good point. We don't need more than one pharmacist on the some other talent.
Judy McDonald, Liberty. I just wondered, why don't we follow the county procedures for meetings? Like the county commissioners, it's live streamed, it's not on Zoom.
We are right now following that.
Oh, so
We're
I don't
live streaming.
understand what the problem is then.
Is
I'm
that
not
in the
quite
past,
sure.
it was being streamed by Zoom and people could participate.
And that was because of COVID and we.
That's when it started.
Okay. So that was nice to have that, but we don't have to have that. It's not, nobody else has it. Is that correct? So the county they don't have it.
I can't speak for every board. I know I was on the county planning board, and
I know that during COVID, the county did have a situation where
Right.
the public could go back and forth, but then they stopped it once the emergency orders.
So if we
were-
continue to, it would be nice, we'd be privileged to have that opportunity if we did this continue to Zoom, but we don't have to because nobody else does it on the county.
well, I can't say for sure. Nobody else does it. We can only tell you what the county commissioners do, and I could speak for the county planning board, but it's live streamed in that sense.
Hi, I'm Dana Hawkins, Blairstone. I wanted to congratulate the library on doing such a great job. I wasn't aware that it was National Library Week, but I love the library, they're so wonderful. I had a question about the open seat as well. Sounds like the county commission is the place to find information about that, but I've had actually a difficult time finding the application online. And it was
There is a page on the county's website.
volunteer something, okay.
Yeah.
And by the way, that's by statute.
What is that?
It means the state law that enables the library commission to be created.
Mhm.
The law says the county commissioners make the appointments.
And so is there any way to tell when it will be filled or by what time? Like, is there any
Question would
information
go
on
to
that?
the county.
But I mean, is it on the website?
No, I think it's just the application form, like for the position.
Okay.
Well, it's not, no, it's not the starting process, we have no idea how people select where they are.
Anybody else care to speak? All right, seeing none, we need a motion to close the public comment period.
I make a motion?
I'll second that.
Roll call?
Ms. Gerhart?
Yes.
Ms. Pascarelli? Ms. Thomas?
Yes. Yes. Okay, that is the commissioner comments. Lisa or Kathleen, have anything else you want to say at this time? No? Okay, and then the next item on the agenda is executive session. We don't need to have one of those today. So we will skip over that and move on to adjournment by vote of commission. Need a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second that.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Gerhart?
Yes.
Ms. Pascarelli?
Yes.
Ms. Thomas?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you, everyone.